Today's lesson, Comparing Numbers, is the third lesson in Topic 3 of 4th grade Envision. The guiding question for this lesson is, how can you tell which number is greater or which number is less? The vocabulary for this lesson is as follows. Please copy this term and its meaning down in box 1 of your homework sheet. Let's begin with the problem-based interactive learning. I have 1,345 football cards and 1,380 baseball cards in my collection. How can I use place value to determine which collection has the greater number of cards? Please pause the video now and complete this problem independently. Let's begin. I'm going to begin by underlining the key information in the problem. I'm going to underline this number because I know I need to compare it to the other number, which I'm also going to underline. I'm going to also underline information in the problem because that's how I need to figure out which number is greater and which number is less. So I'm going to underline place value. Okay, now I'm going to pull my information out of the problem so I can work with it. I like to stack the numbers on top of each other because it helps me to see the numbers in each place. So I make sure that I have the numbers that are in the thousands column, one on top of the other, the numbers that are in the hundreds column above and below each other, and the number in the tens column, and the numbers in the ones column. So really what I've done is I've created a place value chart. And by doing so, it helps me to figure out which number is greater and which number is less. Now when comparing numbers, always start on the left, the greatest value. Okay, so the greatest value here is the thousands place. And I notice that the first number has a 1 in the thousands place, and the next number has a 1. So since they both have a 1, I would need to move to the right. So I'm going to move to the right when comparing numbers. So step 2 would be to move to the right if your digits are the same. Okay, so I'm going to move over to the hundreds place. And I notice that I have 3s in both places. So these digits are also the same. These values are the same. So we have the same value in the thousands place and the same value in the hundreds place. So now I need to continue to move to the right. And I'm going to keep moving to the right until I see 2 digits that are different. And here in the tens place, I see I have a 4 and an 8. These values are different. 8 is greater than 4. So I know that this number is larger because 8 is greater than 4. So step 3 would be to find the greater number. Okay, so I have more baseball cards in my collection, and that's how you use place value to compare numbers. Let's try another example. Now, as you can see, we're going to be comparing numbers that are larger. You can use place value the same way. So let's begin by stacking our numbers on top of each other. Now, when comparing, it doesn't matter which number is on top, as long as you line up your digits, and you need to work neatly. And as you can see, I've lined up my digits. Those are all on top of each other. Even my commas are above and below each other. So I'm going to start on the left, the greatest value, which is the 10,000ths place. This is the 10,000ths place. This is the thousandths place. This is the hundreds place. This is the tens, and this is the ones. So I'm starting in the 10,000ths place, which is the greatest value. And as you can see, I have threes. So I'm going to move which way? That's right, to the right, when they are the same. So these are the same. Now I'm in the thousandths place, and I notice that both of them are twos. So I can't compare those two because they're the same. So then I'm going to move to the hundreds place. And I see here, this is where the difference is. I have a 4 and a 3. Which number is larger, 3 or 4? The 4 is larger. So this number is a greater number. I would write that this way. 32,475 is greater. And when writing the greater symbol, the opening faces the greater number. The point faces the smaller number. So 32,475 is greater than 32,375. And that's how you write a comparison statement to show which number is greater and which number is less. Let's begin by working on the guided practice. Now, number 1 asks you to compare not only using the place value box, but also using the digits. And I'm going to continue to work on stacking my numbers. Starting on the left and then moving to the right. I see that my digits are the same, and I'm going to move over, and I see I have a 4 and a 5. The number with the 5 in the tens place is greater because 5 is greater than 4. So that means my opening of my symbol should be facing the number with the 5. Now when I ask you to show your work on your paper, this is what I'm expecting to see. This is showing your work. You're showing that you're using the strategy of place value to figure out which number is greater and which number is less. So let's work on number 2. We're going to begin by stacking our numbers. Starting on the left, moving to the right. And I see that 5 and 2 in the hundreds place is where I have a difference in my digits. 5 is greater than 2. So the opening of my symbol should be facing the number with the 5 in the hundreds place. And when I ask you to show your work, this is what I'm expecting to see. This is how you show your work. All right, let's work on the next one. Be sure that when you are lining up, your digits are all lined up. Okay, starting on the left. The 10,000ths place is the same. The thousandths place is the same. And then I notice here in the hundreds place, we have a 1 and a 0, and that's where the difference is. So 1 is greater than 0. So my symbol is going to be facing the number with the 1 in the hundreds place. All right, let's do one last one together. And as you can see, now we are working into the 100,000ths place. And the strategy works the same starting on the left, regardless of the number of digits you have. You're always going to start on the left, moving to the right. All right, let's start on the left. I see that both of these numbers have a 6 in the 100,000ths place. Let's move to the right. 1 place. Both of these numbers have a 7 in the 10,000ths place. Let's move to the right. Both of these numbers have a 2 in the thousandths place. Which way are we moving? It's right to the right. A 4 and a 4 and a 4. Neither one of these numbers is greater or less than. They are the same. So they are equal. And that's how you use place value to compare numbers. Now it's your turn. Please work on problems 10 through 15 independently in box 3 of your homework sheet. Be sure to show your work. And to connect to the concept, explain how place value helps you to compare whole numbers and give an example. If you have any questions or comments, please bring them to class tomorrow. That's all for now.